Welcome to Be Still and Notice, a yoga podcast. Join me, your host, yoga and meditation instructor Helen Taylor, to dive deeply into the vast ocean of wisdom that is yoga. Explore with me how these ancient practices can help heal and elevate us physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually in an ultra-modern world. Together, we'll deepen our practice, explore our connection to divinity and our own inner landscapes with the help of special guests, guided meditations, how-tos, and oh, so much more. Yoga has the incredible power to change your life on every level, and it all begins with stillness. Now let's begin. Hi everyone, and welcome to season 2 episode 10. I think I might have said it's episode 9, but we are episode 10. Welcome to the podcast. This week I'm talking about something that I'm seeing happening a lot around me. I'm talking about burnout, physical, mental, emotional burnout, and it seems to be more prevalent now than it used to be, say, 10 years ago. And I'm exploring what burnout is, how it can manifest, and how it basically looks physically, mentally, and emotionally. And I'm giving you 5 things that you can do, that you can implement to really help you avoid burnout in the future. And if you feel like you're burning out now, to implement straight away. It's something that's close to my heart, and it's something that can be very, very difficult to recover from. So the more prevention that you can do by creating a really balanced, healthy lifestyle, by listening to your body's warning signs, by practicing things like yoga that really help you to tune into your body's innate intelligence, the better. So have a listen to the episode. I really hope you gain something from it. Let me know what you think and enjoy listening. Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 10 of season 2. And today I want to really talk about something that has really been highlighted in my life. So many people around me at the moment are feeling really burnt out. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today is burnout. And what do we mean by burnout? So if you Google it, burnout is described as physical, mental, and emotional exhaustion, but in the severe. And it's not just physical, it's not just mental or emotional, it's all 3 together. And hey, listen, maybe you've experienced it. Like I said, at the moment, several people around me are really, really exhausted, overwhelmed, dealing with a lot of emotional stuff and just feeling just burnt out. There's nothing left. And when I hear the term burnout, I literally think of a match, a match that has all of the juice, that fire has taken all of the juice out of that wood, all of that energy, all of that, the possibility that made that flame alive has been sucked out, so that all is left is this withered little piece of wood. That's what I think of when I think of someone that's really, really burnt out. And unfortunately, it is becoming more and more common. And I do think with what's happening in the world at the moment, We've got a lot of civil unrest, war, a lot of volatility, violence, division, a huge amount of upheaval and uncertainty going on in the world. And even if where you're living you feel safe and you feel good, and your current situation is great, these energetic forces at work globally will still affect you because we live in a globalized world. We live in an era where we know what's happening across the oceans. We can see terrible images of warfare and people dying, and not only do we have access to it, but we're bombarded by it. So actually you have to be really proactive to protect yourself from this overload of information. Now, as I've said before, we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but when I talk about digital detox and when I talk about consuming less and watching less news, I'm not saying don't care. I'm not saying bury your head in the sand and pretend nothing's happening. I'm not saying don't take action. And I'm not saying be selfish and just think about yourself. But what I am saying is it's really important to recognize, even if it's on a subconscious level, that everything that's happening in the world at the moment will affect you. It's affecting everyone. And of course, we've got this big fire horse energy, which is creating a huge amount of this change. And most of it can be really, really positive on a personal level, this fire horse energy, but it can still burn you out if you don't stay balanced. So I'm going to give you 5 big things that you can do if you feel like you're on the edge of burnout, or you have people, maybe you know people that are on the edge of burnout. These are the things that you can do to help yourself. But let's go back to what burnout actually looks like. So the physical symptoms of burnout are exhaustion. No matter how much rest you get, you feel absolutely exhausted all the time. You feel like you're walking through water, and you might also have things like headaches, weird aches and pains that you've never had before in your joints, in your bones, in your muscles. Very common as well is digestive issues, upset stomach, problems sleeping, lots of craving sweet and salty foods. Your addictions might become heightened. So if you're a Diet Coke addict or a coffee addict, you might feel that goes into a next level, and actually it doesn't help at all. You know, that morning coffee that you normally rely on probably doesn't even hit the spot. So you have 2, and it actually makes you feel worse. Bad skin, just a feeling of not being able to recover. Lowered immune system is a really, really big one. So you're catching every single bug that's coming along, and you're like, oh, can I not catch a break? Because you've only just got over the last cold, and another one comes on, another one. And I know this is particularly difficult for people with young kids, where you just catch everything that they've got. So your immune system is not getting a break because you're not sleeping, because you're just, everything is lowered and you're not recovering properly. You feel drained, run down, and like you just can't get enough rest. So those are the main kind of physical symptoms. You might also get this kind of itchy, twitchy leg syndrome. You might feel like you can't sit still, but all you want to do is relax. And basically your nervous system is just constantly whacked out. It's constantly in fight or flight, and your adrenals are just pumping out all the time, and it is actually causing your body to be physically exhausted. On an emotional level, you might feel things like anxiety. This is a really big one. So because you're constantly in a fight or flight stress response, you're in this heightened response all the time, adrenaline is pumping, that can cause higher levels of anxiety. Even if you're not a sufferer, generally it can bring on anxiety, and that feeling in the pit of your stomach, that knot in your stomach that just doesn't go away no matter how much you try and relax. Worry, being overreactive. So this is a big one for me. I know when I'm on the edge because I get really snappy. And everyone who meets me, once or twice or as a yoga teacher is like, I can't imagine you losing your shit. Well, trust me, it happens. So this kind of out of nowhere, kind of irritable, overreactive, and then bursting into tears. That's something that I do as well. And I know by that time, it's probably too far gone. There were other things to notice before that for me. But that's a real sign that you're about to burn out, or you are burnt out, that it's not a rational response. You're really reactive with your partner. At work, you're just like, oh my God, that person who is really road rageous. That's what I call it. Someone on the road who just reacts, flies into a temper. You just think, oh, okay, what's happening in your life at the moment? That's a big one. And then feelings like being totally overwhelmed, like, oh my God, I just can't handle what's going on at the moment, especially when it's things that you would normally be able to handle, but suddenly you're like, oh, why do I feel so overwhelmed? Being really self-critical, putting yourself down, feeling very negative, resentful about your work, about your life, not being able to see the positives, depressed, feeling, really low feeling. Volatility, we just talked about that, this kind of really snappy, angry, reactive response. And also feeling emotionally numb. Some people are just kind of on autopilot, and then they reach a point where there is no emotion. It's just like, what is happening? A bit like when they go through a big life moment, such as losing a loved one, a death in the family. It's this kind of disconnect that can happen, and that is also a stress response. So really important to recognize that. In terms of kind of performance at work or physically, this can also look like the inability to focus, like you just can't focus your mind feels very foggy and cloudy. A big one is you're not able to work creatively. This is a really, really big one for you writers, artists, creators out there. And again, this is something that I really recognize. When you're burnt out, that there is no space for creativity, and that is a big warning sign. It's a big warning sign that your body, your whole system is in survival mode, and it's reaching its limit. Because if you are in a creative space, a flow state space in your mind, it means that the body is at rest, and the mind can go, oh, okay, I'm not on high alert. I can daydream. I can bring things in. I can create. I can write poetry. I can draw a beautiful picture. When you're in survival mode, fight or flight, the nervous system is just jacked up to the nines. No, there's no way that your mind is going to create space to write a beautiful poem or pen your latest novel, because it's not what's necessary for survival. This is just generally this feeling of performance. So if you are a gym goer and you love to work out, you might find that you just can't lift as heavy as you used to. You can't run as far as you used to, as fast as you used to, because you're not getting the physical recovery that your body needs. And you may also get all sorts of body aches and pains, spasms, which is really your body's way of saying, stop, please stop, 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 stop. And with what happened with a friend of mine, your body can just scream at you and make you stop. The body is innately abound with wisdom, innately intelligent, and it will tell you through pain, illness and disease when it's had enough. It will tell you, and it will stop you in your tracks if you're not careful. So this is the far end of burnout. This is quite extreme, but it's something to be really aware of. If you let it go unchecked and you just power on through, an expression that I actually really hate, power through, you're basically ignoring your body's warning systems at your peril. You're not doing yourself any favours whatsoever. Just a little aside story. I hate that phrase now because many of you know I worked for 12 years in the TV industry as a makeup artist. Now, when you work as a makeup artist, it can seem glamorous, but when you work in TV and film, the scheduling is killer. And as a makeup artist, you're normally there before almost everyone else. The locations guys will be there, the ADs will be there, and then you will turn up first, because the artists, news presenters, actors, whoever it is, they need to be in the chair early before everyone else. So you need to be there to set up before they get there, which often means, and I worked in the news for 6 years, which often means getting up. I regularly got up at 3:30 in the morning to go to work, to get to work for 4:30. And there are all sorts of things that this does to your body. But there was and is still in the industry this kind of just power through. Just do what you can to get through the day, and then get home to bed and then do the same thing the next day. There is no listening to your body. There is no healthy balance. There is, you do what you can to power through and get through the day. You drink coffee. In those days, it was Barocca. I don't know if you remember Barocca. No one seems to take that anymore. This bright orange thing that makes your wee orange but gives you a hit of B vitamins and God knows what else. And I lived on very strong coffee in the morning, which now I can't stomach because of my IBS that was made worse by this lifestyle. And Barocca and just powering through. I don't use that phrase anymore, and I cringe when everyone says it, because to me that is the antithesis of good health. That is the antithesis of a yoga practice. When you ignore your body's warning system, which is highly, 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 highly intelligent, you do so at your own peril. So that's just a little side story from me. So what can you do, right? What can you do? All of us have a lot to juggle. Even me, I'm working hard at creating a sustainable life for myself where I can earn money, live my days at my own pace and not be doing shift work the way I used to. But I also need to pay the bills. I also need to pay my rents, and look after myself and go to the gym and do my continuing education and do social media and content create and be a good teacher and do the podcast and do this. And for everyone out there, there are layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of responsibility. And you could argue that our modern day life is just way too much. It's way too much. And when you pile on top of that the ultra connectivity we have with the digital world, with social media, with the news, that just adds another layer of stress onto our body system. So here are the 5 things. Now, these are big meta things to look at, but they're really practical. So if you're someone who's like, holy shit, I am feeling all of those things that Helen has just described, and I really feel like I am at the end of my tether, I'm burning out. Here are the things that you can do. Number 1 is really, really important, but it does take practice. And for you yogis out there, you will be ahead of the game. If you're listening to this and you've just started practicing yoga, or you're thinking about practicing yoga, this can take some time to develop if you don't have it naturally. Recognize what's happening in your body. I can't tell you how many people I meet when clients first come and start working with me, how many people are so unaware of how they feel physically in their body at any given time. It constantly surprises me. They're so disconnected from their physicality that there's just this huge, that's the word, disconnect. And so they're unable to listen to their body. And this is why a lot of people get burnt out. And a yoga practice, a very simple foundational yoga practice, is absolutely brilliant at honing your self-awareness skills. Now I'm going to do another episode on self-awareness because we talk about it a lot, but I really want to get into the nitty-gritty of what that is practically. But because in yoga we sit, we allow, we tune in to the sensations in our body constantly evaluating and looking at the breath, using the breath, listening to the sensations in your body. After a while, you become so in tune with your physical body that it can be much, much easier when a symptom comes up to go, oh, hang on a minute, that's different. What is that feeling? What is that? That's new. Whereas someone who is very disconnected from their body and has all sorts of ailments that they're not tending to, that can be their normal. So their normal is feeling stiff and achy every single morning, having stomachache every time after they eat food, just feeling horrible headaches every day. That can be their normal. That could, sadly, they might think that that is how everyone else is feeling. So to recognize what's happening, we really need to become way more in tune with our physical bodies. And when I say physical body, I also do mean mentally and emotionally, but I'm going to focus just on the physical aspect for this first step. Recognize what's happening. Step number 1, notice. Notice what's happening. Super, super important, because once you've noticed, holy shit, I'm feeling, excuse my language, I'm feeling really burnt out. My body does not feel good. Then you can make a change. And it could also be that it's a friend, a partner, a loved one, your mum, your dad, your brother, that's actually saying to you, hang on a minute, I don't think this is right. I think, you're burning out here. So also listen to the people that love you and that can see you objectively, because burnout can be so total that you get lost in it and you can't see objectively. So really listen to your loved ones. They care about you. They care about you. They want you to be well. And if someone says, hang on a minute, I really think you're doing too much. I think you don't look very well. You look pale. You seem exhausted. Listen to them. All right. So once you've recognized what's happening, number 2 is take responsibility. This is also a really big one, but it's not so easy. So when you take responsibility for something, really you need to do a little bit of an audit, a quick audit of your life at the moment. And there may be lots of things that are out of your control, huge life happenings. Perhaps you've lost someone dear to you, they've died, you're going through a divorce, you're being made redundant. There can be huge life events that can make burnout happen even more quickly. And of course, knowing that these things are out of your control, and there's only a certain amount of things within your control, is really, really, really key. And I would just want to honour and recognise that. But what can you take responsibility for, and what can you be in control of? Things like your digital consumption. You'll hear me talk about this so much because it's so important. Protect yourself. If you're burnt out and your way to relax at night is watching violent films, gory films, horror films, sitting up late watching the news, your body, your system is not relaxing. There is nothing relaxing for anybody watching violence, consuming this really ultra negative stuff. Even if in the moment you don't think it's affecting you, that's also a really bad sign, because on some level that's affecting your physical body, it's affecting your mind, and it's affecting your emotional and mental health. So I invite you to really curate your digital experience. And you might think, what? Come on a minute. What are you going on about, Helen? I just want to sit and chill and watch TV. So do I. I love Netflix. I love to Netflix and chill just like anybody else. I actually love watching TV. But choose things that are gentle, that are funny, that are creatively interesting. Choose things that are really kind of innocuous to consume. Dare I say it, even watch something that you find a little bit boring and it makes you want to switch off the telly and go to bed. Because that is going to be way, way better for you than sitting up and watching some murder mystery thing that actually is just making your nervous system even more on alert precisely before you're meant to be going to sleep to rest. So your digital consumption, and with that I mean also social media. Put your phone away in the evening. I have taken to putting mine in a drawer or in the kitchen so that I am not tempted to look at it. With the news, like I mentioned earlier, just watch the headlines, stay informed, but don't stick Sky News on in the background 24/7, rolling and rolling and rolling. Trust me, I know what that does to you, having worked for Sky News for 6 years. Be really careful about what you consume. Also, don't get in any fights with people on social media. Why do you need to? And again, with the accounts that you follow, really curate your experience. So things like this are really in your control. Look at the areas of life where you can create more balance. Are there parts of your day where you can have a nap, have a 10-minute sit down in quiet with a cup of tea, herbal tea, whatever? How can you say no more often? Create boundaries. So within your work, personal, balanced life, how can you create a little bit more space? So we're sitting down, we're just doing this little audit. How can you create a little bit more space, a little bit more time for you to rest mentally, emotionally, and physically? And if this feels really overwhelming to kind of audit your whole life, just take one day, take your current day, and just look how you could change that to make a little bit more space, to have a little bit more balance for you. And if that feels overwhelming, know that really small steps make a very big difference over time. When you stack small habits such as watching something innocuous at bedtime, going to bed a bit earlier, an hour earlier, not drinking caffeine after 4 o'clock, drinking more water, all of these things do make a really big difference. So that leads on to number 3, which is really create a more sustainable daily routine for yourself. And I'm going to say it, take a holiday. If you're really burnt out, take a few days off work. Pull a sickie, take your time, stop and rest. Don't power through. Now, sometimes this just isn't possible, and I get that. But your health comes first. Your mental, emotional, physical health comes first. You really need to practice self-care. So if you can, take a few days off. Go away, stay at home, whatever feels most nourishing and restful for you. And if you can't do that, plan holidays, plan regular holidays throughout your year. Regular breaks, even if you don't go away, like a long weekend here, a long weekend there, just so that you know, okay, in 3 weeks' time, I've got another little break coming up. Carve out a little bit of quiet for your everyday. Like I said, this can be like 10-minute breaks where you do a guided meditation. You could do this at your desk at work. Not ideal, but whatever works for you. Or go out, take a 10-minute walk, get some fresh air. Go and sit down in the park or the garden outside your workplace, your own garden. Stretch, move, do some pranayama, some breathing. Go to bed earlier. This is a big one, and I found myself, as I get older, going to bed earlier and earlier and earlier. Currently, I'm going to bed at 9. It just seems to suit me. And you might find that you're able to get up earlier. And with your bedtime routine, like I said, be careful what you're consuming and what you're doing before you go to bed. You know, there's so many studies out there and so many people saying, you know, a bedtime routine is really important. It's for a very good reason. You need to get your nervous system relaxed to prepare for bed. If you've had loads of coffee and wine and you've watched some horror film before you go to bed, you're not going to be ready to fall asleep and relax. You might do from simple exhaustion, but it's not going to be really good quality sleep. Eat healthier food. And another one is to really lower your caffeine consumption. So I actually had adrenal fatigue, which is part of burnout. And I saw Dr. Garima for it. And she said to me, you need to stop drinking tea, coffee, no caffeine whatsoever. And I was like, what? How am I going to survive? Because caffeine Now I have just one cup of tea in the morning, and that's perfect anymore. And I get palpitations and I get shaky. My body is very sensitive to that. But I never used to be. Remember, I used to drink really strong coffee and perhaps 2 or 3 a day. So, yeah, limit or cut out caffeine. You'll be amazed. You might feel a bit rubbish for a couple of days when you go through the withdrawal, but you'll be amazed how much more energy you have because your body is not being hit. Your nervous system is not being hit by that massive spike of caffeine. Be really careful about the times that you have caffeine as well. So, of course, like Coke, Pepsi, anything like that, if you have them late at night, it's just going to keep you awake. It's just going to make your heart pump faster. It's just really not good when you're burning out. So regular rest breaks throughout the day. I said taking 10 minutes here and there makes all the difference. Drink more water. And if you're someone who is a marathon runner, you're really into your long distance runs, or you do a lot of HIIT, like high intensity training, you might want to take a break. And if you can't take a full-on break, try something different. So you're still moving your body. Try yoga. Yoga takes some nice long walks, something that is slower and gentler on your nervous system, but still gets your body moving. You still want to do gentle exercise, but you're exhausted. Your body is depleted. So you really want to do something that's much more nourishing for your whole system. And if you're going to the gym and you're doing your workouts, why not add a nice bit of self-care in? So go to the sauna, go to the steam room afterwards. If you don't have access to those, have a lovely hot bath when you get home. That's one of my favourite things to do, is to go to the gym and then treat myself with a lovely hot Epsom salt, so magnesium flakes in the bath. Is just the perfect way to recover. So there are so many things that you can do to adjust your everyday lifestyle. Small things to help you achieve better balance. Rest, quiet, think simple, more analog things is going to be really, really helpful here. And I'm going to say things so simple, things like needlework, things like cooking, things like reading a physical book, gardening, tangible things that you can hold and do in your hands that don't require a screen can be just so nourishing. I've really, really found that of late. So go back to the old school. If you're Gen X like me, remember the days I quite often would just sit with my mum and do some like cross stitch when I was little. She would knit and I would do a little bit of cross stitch. I was really bad at it, but I loved it. It was so calming and so relaxing. And on a Sunday afternoon, my parents would put a classical record on and we would just sit in the lounge listening to music and reading a book. Amazing for you if you're feeling really burnt out. Number 4 seems really simple, but I think it's incredibly healing and incredibly important. Number 4 is connect with nature and the elements. We are elemental beings. If you listen to the podcast regularly, you'll hear me say this a lot. We are made of earth, air, fire, water. We are literally elemental beings. So there are really simple ways that we can connect with the elements in our home. If you're lucky enough to have a fireplace, a wood burner, light a fire at night in your lounge, wherever it is. And if you have a fire pit outside, put on a big coat and make yourself a lovely warm drink, go outside and light the fire and sit around the fire and just gaze into the flame. There is quite honestly nothing quite so soul nourishing as gazing into a flame. You can light candles in your house if you don't have a fire. Candle flames can also be really beautiful and create that ambient kind of red light, which is also much, much more conducive to relaxing than the blue light we get from screens and phones and stuff. Have a spa day, so to connect with water. Take yourself on a beautiful spa day and just bob around in the hot water, and if you want to do cold plunge, go for it. But be in and around water. If you can't afford a spa day, take yourself to a lake and walk around a lake. Go swimming. Go to the sea. I mean, the sea is just heaven. I grew up by the sea, and it is part of my being. And if I don't get to the seaside very often, I get withdrawal symptoms. The air, the smells, the sounds. Really important to be by water often as you can. In terms of the earth element, this one is much more easy, because most of us have gardens, or we have access to allotments. Take yourself outside. So today, if you follow me on Instagram and you saw my stories, all I wanted to do, it's a Sunday afternoon, I took my doggies for a lovely walk in the woods. Again, earth element. And then I came home, and all I wanted to do was pot up these plant cuttings that I rooted in little jars of water on my kitchen windowsill. And some of them have been there for a really long time and are actually probably a bit past it. But I thought, I know what I want to do. So hands in the compost, it's creative, it's incredibly grounding, and it's so uplifting to nurture life that way, to nurture another living being that way. And if you're thinking plants aren't beings, I can debate that with you, because I am. I love plants, and they are intelligent. So that's a whole nother conversation. So you can garden. You can, if you don't have a garden, do your house plants. You can take an allotment, help a friend down their allotment. Just get your hands in the dirt, connect with plants, connect with the ground. Also, it's hard here in the UK because it's winter, it's raining at the moment. But wherever possible, walk barefoot. Even if it's in your house, walk around barefoot. If it's too cold to walk outside, ideally walk around barefoot outside on the grass every day if you can. Just stand there and just let the earth carry you. It's incredibly, incredibly nourishing. And you might hear little footsteps. That's my little Taka. Connect with your furry loved ones. If you've got pets, spend time cuddling them, playing with them, walking them. Just be on their plane of reality and existence for a little bit every day. That is so nourishing. Dogs in particular are totally present moment. You can hear him, he's digging his bed. Go on, lie down. They are in the present all the time. They can teach us so much, and it's especially good if you are struggling from anxiety. Brushing, stroking, cuddling your lovely pets, animals. And if you don't have pets and can't have pets, you can go to lovely farms, borrow my doggy, go to a friend's house that has a cat, let them sit on your lap. You know, there are ways to interact with animals that can be just so beautiful and incredibly healing. Go for a walk in the woods. If you're feeling like it and you can and it's not too muddy, just be crazy and lie down amongst the trees. Let your body fall on the earth. Let yourself be held by Mother Nature and just feel it. Allow yourself to relax, rejuvenate, and nourish you. It's just so, so powerful. Number five is connect to a greater power. Now, even if you're listening to this and you're like, I'm not spiritual, hear me out. There is something incredibly, incredibly powerful about connecting to a source of power that is greater than yourself. Whatever your beliefs, whatever your religion, whatever stage of life you're at, there are ways that we can connect to a higher power. And why should we do this? In yoga, and in Hinduism, there are many beautiful goddesses. Durga is the mother goddess. She is the ultimate protector. And she's courageous, she's bold, she's fiery, but she's incredibly kind and loving, and all she wants for you is the absolute best. And it's quite commonplace within Bhakti yoga, devotional yoga practice, to chant her name. And my teacher used to say to me, anything feels too much for you, just give it up to Durga. Give it up to the Great Mother. She can take it. She can carry all your burdens for you. And I was like, really? There is something so incredibly powerful about handing something energetically over to a greater source of power, something that can handle it when you feel like you can't. Because we're not made to be able to bear the brunt of everything. We're not born to be able to hold the grief of the entire world on our shoulders. Not just one person on their own. But Durga can. These ethereal beings, however you want to imagine them, it might be Jesus, it might be any religion, these higher powers, these higher divine beings or energies. It doesn't even need to look like anything. You don't need to define it, but you can give this responsibility, this weight, this burden that you're carrying in by feeling burnout, especially if you're dealing with stuff in your life that I mentioned earlier that is out of your control, like big life, hard life events. Literally, you can sit with your palms facing up. This is a really powerful exercise. Sit down, palms facing up, close your eyes and just say, I give it all to you. I give it all to you. It's too much for me, but I know you can take it, so I'm giving it to you. Super powerful on all levels, physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. And there's loads of studies out there that show that people with a spiritual connection or beliefs in higher powers are mentally, emotionally, and physically way more resilient than those that don't, because they feel like they have a safety net. And I can vouch for all of that since I've got into my spiritual practice over the last 6 years. If you're feeling like, oh, really? That sounds like a load of horse shit. Try it. really try it. Give it a go. You've got absolutely nothing to lose. And also a really lovely practice, of course, is chanting, devotional chanting. If you don't know who to chant to, one of my teachers suggests that you just chant to Ganapati, the little elephant god with one tusk. He's a really beautiful gateway god. And just chant to him. He is the remover of obstacles. Om Gam Ganapatehe Namaha. Om Gam Ganapatehe Namaha is a beautiful chant. Doesn't need to be fancy. Just repeat it over and over and over again. So devotional prayer is also a really beautiful way of, really, we've just explained that, of just physically, mentally, emotional, spiritually giving, unburdening yourself. But prayer can come in many forms. You might like to sit in the traditional way with the hands together at the heart and just talk to the divine, just talk to that higher power, whatever it looks like for you. Just tell them everything. Unload, offload, ask for what you need. Get it out there. It really is a powerful, powerful, powerful practice. And this could be short. You could take 10 minutes in your car in a traffic jam and say, come on, higher beings, ancestral beings, protectors, spirit guides, whoever, can you help me out with this meeting today? Can you help me so that I can get a good night's sleep tonight? Can you help me feel less exhausted? Can you help me find more balance in my life? Just offer it up. Put it out there. There really is nothing to lose and everything to gain. Another powerful practice through our yoga practice is to really begin to listen to your heart's true voice. So if you practice with me, you'll know that pretty much every class we do what I call a state of being, noticing your state of being. And we check into the physical body, we notice the mental body, and we check into the emotional body. Like I said at the beginning with number 1, recognizing what's going on, this can take some practice and some time. It's kind of cumulative. The more you do, the more that you can hear. So the more you take some time to be quiet in your yoga practice, this could be your meditation, this could be just sitting still in those little 10-minute breaks throughout the day, to see if you can tune in to the heart. Our most intuitive, powerful voices reside at the heart center. The more you listen to the heart, the louder it will speak to you, the more you will hear it. And it could be really simple messages like, I can't do this anymore. Something needs to change. I need to change my work. This relationship is too much for me. I don't want to feel like this anymore. I've had enough. These strong messages that can come through gently from the heart quite often can lead to big positive life changes. Big things, small steps, big changes. So I'm just going to do a little recap. If you're feeling burnt out, overwhelmed, physically all sorts of symptoms going on that you can't quite put your finger on, you're quite irrational, volatile, irritable, emotional, overly emotional, you can't focus, you feel depleted, you feel drained all the time. You just don't know what's wrong with you. The stuff that used to feel easy, now you resent, you don't want to do and it feels incredibly difficult, more than likely you're burnt out. The solution to being burnt out is creating more balance and space for restoration. I was going to say just rest, but it really is restorative time for your body, your mind, and your spirit. How do we do this? Number one, recognize that it's happening. Tune into your body and listen to your loved ones. If they're telling you, I think you're burnt out, I think you need to slow down, I think you need to stop, listen to them, because more than likely they're right. Number two, take responsibility for the things that you can and for the things that are in your control. There may be big life events happening out there that are totally out of your control, and that's okay. Focus on the things that you can control, your lifestyle, your habits, how you move through the day, how you nourish your body. Number three, create a sustainable routine that is built on rest and nourishing your body. Lots of different ways to do this. Go to bed earlier, create a bedtime routine, eat healthier food, cut down on caffeine, drink more water, gentler exercise, digital detox, or really manage your consumption of the digital slop that's out there. Create more boundaries to nourish and protect your energy. This is really, really vital. Number four, connect with nature and the elements. You're an elemental being. Know that, feel that, gaze into a fire, light some candles, be around water, be in water, swimming, go to the seaside, go to a river or a lake, have a spa day, even having a bath at home, amazing. For earth, gardening, digging, grow your own veggies, manage your house plants, walk barefoot, on the earth, walk in a wood, cuddle your pets, spend time with your animals, very grounding, very nourishing. Number five, connect to something greater than yourself. This could be Mother Nature. This could be your whatever you believe in, your deity, your religion of choice, your spirituality of choice. But offload your burdens to that higher power. They can take it. They can take it. Take time daily to have simple moments of quiet reflection, prayer. I didn't mention this earlier, but journaling, can be a really beautiful way of prayer, of praying. Just let a stream of consciousness unfold. It takes some practice, but just scribble out whatever you're feeling into a journal. Let it flow out of you. Let it become a flowing stream of consciousness. And if you find it really stilted, just remember, you could burn this piece of paper afterwards. No one ever needs to read it. I used to hate journaling. In fact, because of that, I would feel so tied up with how it read and how it heard, and that someone else might see it, that it stopped me from writing. And I actually love writing. Now I'm able, something has been unlocked through practice, to just write. And it can be gobbledygook. It can mean nothing. It could be full of swear words. It could be X-rated. It could be anything at all. Just let it out of your stream of consciousness onto the page. Let it be prayer. Let it be whatever it needs to be. If you don't want to keep it, burn it. Put it into that fire. Devotional chanting, kirtan, chanting on your own, a puja practice, lighting a candle in front of a statue of your deity of choice, adding an offering, a flower, some rice, whatever it may be. Connect to something greater than yourself. Okay, my friends, that's about it for today. It's a big, big topic. I hope that you are really taking good care of yourself. There really is no benefit in powering through. And if you're someone, like I said, in the industry that I used to work in, there really was this, and still is, this badge of honor. You wear your tiredness, your busyness, like a badge of honor. Like, I stayed up, got 2 hours sleep last night. Oh yeah. There's nothing good about that. There's nothing good about that. So the invitation here, if you're that kind of person, is to switch that around to, I got 10 hours sleep last night. I got 8 hours solid, restful, beautiful sleep. That is something to wear a badge of honor for. I looked after myself. Instead of running 10 miles in the gym today, I ran 5 slowly. Instead of doing my HIIT workout 5 days this week, I did it 3 times and I still felt really good. Baby steps, pull it back, rein it in, nourish yourself inside and out. And I'm sharing this all with you because I really don't want anyone else to become burnt out. Stay balanced. Put yourself first. And especially if you have a busy family, young kids, if you burn out, they can't rely on you. You need to put yourself first as much as you can. Your self-care comes first. Okay, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening to the Be Still and Notice podcast. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and perhaps it even added something to your life. If you know someone that might benefit, please share this episode with them. And of course, a review would be so much appreciated. Please find all the information relating to this episode, including relevant links, in the show notes. And until next time, sending you so much love and light on your path to yoga.